You won't be able to stare at this image.
Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 64. This one is so good. It's long, I gotta talk fast. This was a while back, but still bothers me to this day. It was 2016, and me, 22, and my husband, 28, were moving into a rental home. I was 6 months pregnant, and we were thrilled to move into a nice community since before we had lived in a sketchy part of town. We didn't know much about this rental, except it was in a good school district, low crime area, and within our budget. Time passes without any problems, and soon our son was born. His birth was textbook, and he slept well in the hospital. This all changed when we brought him home. The first night home was awful. Every time we set him in his crib, he screamed. I'm not talking a normal I'm hungry or I need a diaper cry. I legitimate scream like he was in pain. My husband and I had to take shifts at night so that one could be with him while the other could sleep. My shift was always the second and started around 2 to 3 in the morning. I tried my best to sleep, but shortly after my son's birth, I began having horrible nightmares. I would dream nightly about my son being hurt or needing me, and I couldn't get to him. At my 6-week checkup, I told my OBGYN, and she believed I was having postpartum anxiety and prescribed me medicine and recommended I see a counselor. Weeks passed by since starting the medicine and counseling, and I was still having nightmares, and my son was still screaming all night long. His pediatrician told us it was colic and that we just needed to wait it out. Everything changed when he turned 3 months old. His screaming continued but started to be all day instead of just at night. My nightmares became so much more specific. One night I dreamed that I walked into my son's room and he was on fire and screaming. Though I was in his room, my feet were stuck inside of his doorway. I couldn't move or speak. I could only watch my son screaming in pain. I woke up screaming and hyperventilating. My husband ran into the room and tried to console me. The next few days I could not sleep. I spent most of my days at work and my evenings sitting on my front porch talking to my next door neighbor. She was the sweetest old lady and had lived in the neighborhood since it was originally built in the 70s. I guess she could tell something was wrong and asked if I was okay. Reluctantly, I told her how my baby had been acting and how I was having horrible nightmares. She was sympathetic and asked me to elaborate. I didn't feel comfortable telling her the details, so I just told her that I had dreams about fires in the house. Her face quickly changed from caring and concerned to horrified. Seconds of quiet felt like hours before she spoke again. "Do you know what happened in this house?" she said. I told her no. She sighed and looked down before grabbing my hands and looking at me. She goes on to tell me that a few years ago there was a fire at the house due to some faulty wiring done poorly by the landlord. There was a young family with a 3-month-old baby living there, and unfortunately the baby passed away in the fire. She said the couple moved away and the house was renovated and put up for rent after. I was in shock. I ran inside to my husband holding our baby and told him we needed to leave. He must have seen the fear in my eyes since he did not ask me to explain myself until we had gotten the car. I explained what happened in the house and how I felt like my dreams were warnings and we needed to leave before something happened to our baby. Luckily, my brother-in-law lived in the next town over, so we went there. The first night we stayed in his house, our son slept through the night. Not a single peep. I checked on him every hour since it was so unusual for him to sleep this well. From then on, apart from the normal baby stuff, my son never screamed again like he did in that house. My husband packed up our stuff and we stayed with my brother-in-law until we were able to get out of our lease and rent a new place. I never went back. I will never go back. I just pray for whoever moved in there next. This was so crazy. It was such a good one.
Cosas que los humanos debemos ver antes de morir, parte 52.
Baik, basikal ada. Aku kena curi ke boleh ke dapat. Kenapa? Allah. Aduh. Allahu Akbar. Hais, Cin pula buat hal. Tak habis nak menyusahkan aku.
This leper hospital started the Great Plague and is definitely cursed. We have to stop meeting like this. You guys are gonna start thinking that I have a problem. I am back to deliver you another horrific burial ground, and this one is such a doozy. And just arriving here gives me bad vibes. It is soggy and dreary and full of birds, and I hate birds. And here we are, St. Giles. This was once a horrible little medieval village outside of London that's been swallowed up by the West End now, and it's virtually unrecognizable apart from this damp little churchyard. And you wouldn't want to take a day trip out here because St. Giles was the patron saint of that's right, lepers. This is a 12th century leper hospital. It also became the site of public execution. When Sir John Oldcastle was executed, he cursed the land as he was slowly burned to death. This churchyard holds centuries of haphazardly and shallowly buried dead. It was recorded that the revolting ill treatment of the dead was a daily custom, making it no surprise that the Great Plague of 1665 started right here. Patient zero of the plague that decimated the population fell ill right here in St. Giles. And in the Georgian era, an explosion caused 18,000 metric tons of boiling hot beer to flow through St. Giles and kill 8 people. And then to top it off, right here, Dennis Nielsen worked. He would bring the cooking pot that he used to boil his victims and serve food out of it at the office Christmas party.
Jesus is my nightmare.
Nah. Bro, that's gotta be the most fucking dodgiest shit ever. Hell nah, pull that shit in reverse, Derry. Nah, man. Like, honestly, if I switch off my lights now, which I'm gonna just do it. Nah, alright. That's not a good idea. Fucking next second we just hear like screams and shit. Fuck no. Get the fuck out of there, bro.
People keep sending me this viral clip of this weird, slow-moving energy orb. It's saying, Jason, this looks like something out of one of your weird horror sci-fi novels. This is actually a known phenomenon. Actually, certain human beings with certain training can summon energies like this. It's called a Hadouken.
If this clock hits midnight, that means that the world as we know it has ended, and right now it is 90 seconds away from midnight. The Doomsday Clock was founded in 1947. It's a clock that was designed to show how close we are to destroying the world with dangerous technologies. Now, this clock doesn't work like a normal clock, and 90 seconds to midnight doesn't actually mean 90 seconds before the world ends. It just takes into account everything going on in the world right now, and it gives us a threat level based on that. The furthest the clock has ever been away from midnight was in 1991 after the Cold War. Back then, the clock was 17 minutes away from midnight. And today it was revealed to be the closest it's ever been to midnight at just 90 seconds away. Now, to compare it to other years, in 2020 it was 100 seconds away. And since things have just been getting worse and worse since then, the clock keeps moving closer and closer to midnight.
About 10 minutes or so later, Chris is recording himself walking into what appears to be the school's bathroom, and it's then which he gets a genuinely terrifying fright.
Holy shit! Oh fuck! Somebody's in there. Oh shit! Scared the fuck out of me. Oh man. Oh man. Hello. What the fuck? Oh, it's a toy. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me.
The second time he walks into the bathroom, he finds out that it's just a toy, as he refers to it. But the fact that the figure suddenly drops to the floor the moment he looks at it is honestly really strange. He is then shown walking down this long corridor when he begins to hear something strange coming from above.
He's walking this way. Listen. Alright, I'm gonna go this way.
It's not even a full minute later that Chris gets yet another scare coming his way.